Happy Wednesday. Yep, I know you're glad that that is what today is because Wednesday means wisdom. That's best day of the week for us. I really like the proverb that I have to share with you today. It's a tough one to hear, but an important one to hear. A couple things to remind ourselves, as we always do, that the goal of Proverbs isn't just to memorize them. It's not to check boxes to say, hey, now we know 50 Proverbs, where we used to only know 20. That's not it at all. The point of Proverbs is to sit with them and to wonder about them, to look back at your life through them, and then to keep that with you as you walk into the future, with the prayer always that God would continue to make us more and more wise in his eyes, that we would have maturity in this world. And that's super important, as you know, because we live in a world that seems not to value maturity almost at all, because maturity takes time and maturity takes seeing past the moment. That's kind of what today's about. Our proverb for today, trying to live this, it would take a couple of things. One of them is that it's going to take seeing past our initial reactions, meaning not getting stuck on our first response to a situation, but taking time to prayerfully consider it. That's one thing, and that's tough. Not a value we tend to have, but something we ought to. Also, to appreciate that things that we need more than things that we might want. Also, very difficult, not typical of us today, which makes this proverb all the more necessary. Ready for it? Here we go. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, profuse are the kisses of an enemy. Get it? Faithful are the wounds of a friend, profuse are the kisses of an enemy. Point of the proverb may be obvious. Typically, you'd think of wounds as a bad thing. You'd think of kisses as a good thing. But this proverb reminds us that that's not always so. Depends on who it's coming from. Depends on the intent. So our initial reaction might be to always think that something like a wound is bad for us and that a kiss is good for us. But if one comes from a friend and one comes from an enemy, it's important for us to hear this, partially because we have a tendency to decide that a friend is whoever says nice things about us. Not always the case. Sometimes it takes a good friend to sit us down, take us aside, and say, hey, what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're thinking ain't right. It might wound us. At the same time, better that than the kisses of an enemy. Sometimes maybe we're told by a teacher or a boss that the work we're putting in isn't up to it, hurts our feelings. But if we stay right there with hurt feelings and don't realize that it came from a place of love, a place of discipline, and a place that is asking us to grow, if we stay there, that won't be wise. Wisdom is looking past our initial reaction, seeing as an opportunity. The truth is that maturity, godly maturity, maturity anyway, primarily comes through experiencing struggle and experiencing it in the right fashion. That's what godly maturity is. Looking back to see even mistakes that we've made or opportunities for us to reorient ourselves and make sure that the next time that situation arises, to value something like a wound, if it came from a friend, is intended for our growth way more than a kiss from an enemy who means only to butter us up and get something for themselves. Tough stuff, but it's in the Bible, so it's true. Because it's true, it's worth applying to your life. Let's close with our prayer. Lord, help me to be wise, not according to the world's standards, but according to yours. Help me to choose daily the way of wisdom and the way of Jesus. Amen. Thanks for stopping in. Thanks for clicking.